Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Now, Everything Old is New Again, America's entertainment pop culture talk show.
It may well possess a rudimentary intelligence.
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Another great disturbance in the force.
Hello, I'm Mr. Red.
Come on, Mark, like a job for me.
Where's the goodies? Leave the gun. Technique and all.
I bet you wouldn't have done anything like this if Mom and Dad were here.
You filthy criminal.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Here are your hosts, Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Hi there, this is Earl Monroe. You're listening to Everything Old is New Again.
You sure are. How about that? Earl Monroe joined us a couple years back. Yes, Douglas Viviani here with the arbiter of on-air excellence, David Cohen. How are you?
Good. What does that mean?
It means that
you, by the way?
I'm doing well, thank you. We are continuing our exploration of all things Everything Old is New Again, to try to sort of put the year in perspective, what we did over this last year. And at the end of this show, we're going to try to take a peek into what we're going to do for the new year, 2023. We've got lots of great things planned, but I just wanted to continue now to finish up on something that's new and now, part of our show. Let's look at some of the stories for a couple of minutes here and see what stories were told. And if there's any comments or questions, we can go on some of the stories that I've, sort of dove into. And we'll do much more. We're going to have lots of discussions here. Everything Old is New Again. We're going to kind of be on the proverbial couch. What are we doing? Why are we doing it? What's happening? To try to get you all hopped up for the 2003 season. How's that sound, David Cohen?
I followed very little of what you just said, but let's go. I'm in for the ride. Come on. Woo!
So this is a clip of a story that I told about being in Reno, Nevada back in the day and seeing a sign for a Glen Campbell concert and having no real interest in seeing it whatsoever, and how seeing that concert opened my young mind up into new possibilities.
And really changed your life, right?
It really did. In some way, it really did. So let's listen to a little clip of that. A little clip of that right here. This young lady, she's wearing a nice outfit. I'm dressed up. I got myself a nice coat on. We're walking around. I'm like James Bond. I'm wearing a white. You ever wear this? The white jacket with the black pants. You ever wear that outfit? You know the James Bond tuxedo?
It's almost like a little Miami Vice.
A little bit. But think of James Bond back in the day.
With the black pants? Wow.
Black pants with the white jacket and the bow tie. I mean, That's
definitely a statement you're making there.
I wanted to live, like James Bond. That's what part of this was. He's always gambling with the girl standing next to him, right? And he's winning. And he's throwing the chips around, and he's beating the...
Going to Glen Campbell concerts.
He's not going to Glen. That's what I'm saying. I'm sitting there like I am this white jacket, this white tuxedo jacket. What's this guy doing in this show? Everyone's, I don't think anyone really noticed me at all. But if they were to look back and say, this guy's he's in the wrong place. He made a left instead of making a right. Something happened here. But I was starting to get now my attention is going both ways here. I wanted to be James Bond. I always wanted to be James Bond. I'm almost there. All I got to do is get through this Glen Campbell concert, get roulette table after I have a nice steak dinner with I didn't even know what a martini was. Did you? What the heck was a martini at 20 years old, 25? I didn't know it was just one liquor. All it was just it's like gin on the rocks. I mean, or vodka if you do a vodka martini. That's all it is. It's nothing special with a piece of fruit in it. I mean, with an olive. Anyway, when we get back, we're going to find out the finish of this story is how, if at all, Glen Campbell's concert changed me. How was that possible? How about that? So we had a little something there. I have a question for you. I've reached out to Lonnie Shore, who we spoke about in that story, was the opening act for Glen Campbell. Do we have him on the show? And if so, do we have him listen to this story first before we come on and have him review it? Do we ignore it? Is it not much of a show? Is it not something to follow up on? What are your thoughts there?
He was the comedian, right? That opened?
Yes.
I think the story stands on its own.
There you go. But he did open for a lot of people. He was in Vegas a lot. He opened for a lot of people.
Yeah, okay.
But Okay. Not
So did a lot of people.
All right.
Nothing against him personally, but he wasn't really the point of he wasn't involved or wasn't a major character in the story you told. So
right. He did open for him, and we had a couple clips here and there about that. But
he's very funny, but they're not really relevant to the story that you told.
Right. All right, so there's one story. You got a couple more. We'll just bang this out and see if you can want to find any of these stories. You want a little bedtime story for yourself if you haven't heard them. Go to EverythingOldIsNewAgain.Biz.
Yeah, you should.
All right, and there's another story here about the young lady. Now, I'm getting interest, and some people are interested in digging and finding out who the young lady is. I'll never reveal that. But the young lady's story.
But again, just so the young lady we're talking about, if you're familiar with Peanuts, you know, Charlie Brown always had the little red-haired girl who he was always in love with, but never, you know, until the Peanuts movie several years ago, got the courage to speak to or ever approached. So, you know, the young lady that Doug refers to is sort of his little red-haired girl.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so the unrequited love. So we had a little tete-a-tete, if you will, in a restaurant, in actually a wine and cheese place, which was popular back in the day. And this is from our restaurant show. Let's listen here a little something about how... Well, we got it. We got the Rianiti. He's playing the Beatles. I got the Beatles going in the background. This is a big hit. What's wrong with this, right? It's a good picture.
Yeah.
So we're going to play Pictionary. So Pictionary has that thing where you time everything at the timer. So I reach over, the wine's on the table, we got all this stuff. And we're done with the fondue. They take the fondue out. We're playing the game. And I reach over for the timer. And she's got this beautiful white outfit on, this white dress. And we're having a great time. We're talking. We're getting along great. Over goes the glass of wine. The Rianiti Brusco spills all over her dress.
Oh, no. Who knocked over the wine?
I did. I'm going over for I gotta play this game.
Over the wine.
I gotta play this game. We gotta get that timer.
So you were gesticulating and you knocked her wine glass over.
No, I was leaning over to get the timer, to turn the time over to start the match, you know.
Okay.
I got Mr. Rules. I gotta play by the rules. We gotta have this timer. So I'm You're laughing. I wasn't laughing at the time.
I know. Mr. Rules.
I can't.
So the wine goes the red wine.
I can't be more mortified in my life on the planet. I can't believe this is worse than digging a hole and having somebody sit on a blanket.
What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Seriously.
I don't know.
Seriously.
I don't.
Well, I mean, based on everything that had happened between you two up to that point, and you see this glass of red wine, which couldn't be more clear against the white dress that she was wearing, should have been like this, like Superman with kryptonite. It should be like glowing at you, like warning, warning, warning. Do not knock me over.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Well, we'll have to listen to the rest of the story if you want to hear what happens then. But you know what just hit me there? That really is when we pitched this show, I don't know, 8 years ago. And to try to get it on the air, we were saying it's like two guys, right, sitting in a bar, just telling stories or, you know, trying to determine who's the best Disney princess or whatever it might be. I think that's pretty much what that story, what that is. It's just us going back and forth, you know, with...
Yeah, well, that's why your stories are so good because, you know, you're constantly messing up. It's so easy for me to make fun of you and so much fun to do it.
It is fun to tell them. I'll tell you that because I see the response and the feedback from you and it does get the blood going to add more to it and keep on adding because my tendency, and believe it or not, is to sort of say, all right, let me get through the story and get it through quickly. And then you put the brakes on and want to amplify certain things, which does then bring out certainly, the best of these stories, I would say. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of detail in your stories. You're right that you tend to, you know, sort of skip over or just gloss over to move forward. But there, you know, the little things in those stories are so interesting in and of themselves that, you know, they deserve more discussion. Right. Like the Mr. Rules, you know, I got to play by the rules. I had to make sure that timer was flipped over. It had to be done at all costs. Yeah.
At all costs, obviously.
Including
at any cost.
The possible cost of the relationship. But I had to make sure that timer was flipped over. Anyway, we'll be back. Continue more introspection on Everything Old is New Again right here, right now. Come on back.
Hi, this is Walter Koenig, and you're listening to Everything Old is New Again with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
This is Terrence Winter, writer and executive producer of The Sopranos, creator and executive producer of Boardwalk Empire and the new Vinyl on HBO. And you're listening to my friends Douglas Viviani and David Cohen on Everything Old is New Again.
Hey, it's Dr. Peter Weller. I'm here with my friends David Cohen and Douglas Viviani on Everything Old is New Again. One of my favorite shows, and I may not be the most interesting man in the world, but I'm one of them.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dee Dee Sorvino, co-author of Pinot Pasta and Parties, along with your favorite good fella,
Paul Sorvino, and we are here to tell you that you should be listening every day, all day long. Wake up to it and sleep with it. Everything Old is New Again with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Hi, this is Paul McGann, the 8th Doctor, and you're listening to Everything Old is New Again.
This is Bobby Clark for Everything Old is New Again, and a nostalgic look to the future.
You're listening to Everything Old is New Again with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Hi, this is Rod Carew, and you're listening to Everything Old is New Again.
How about that? Rod Carew on our show.
A legend.
Yeah, we have had some amazing people. We've cut back, and we'll talk about guests in a few minutes. We've cut back on the celebrity guests purposefully, but we have enjoyed the presence of some greatness on this show, really.
Yeah, we've cut back on it purposefully because, no one wanted to do the show anymore. But I think it works to our benefit. It really does.
It's not true. I stopped reaching out for a particular reason, which you will find out about, let's say, middle of February. I'll let you know what's happening one way or the other. But in the meantime, let's finish up the stories and then move on. One story of George Allen really took off at some point. This is a story of a local TV celebrity in Providence. And celebrities in small letters, right? He would do dialing for dollars during a movie that we would watch.
Yeah, not the George Allen, the legendary football coach of the Washington football team. That's not the guy.
No, this is a story of how I and my compatriots in Providence College made George Allen a legend at Providence College. So let's hear a little piece of that. George Allen just ate the guy's goldfish. George Allen's on Tapestry. He just ate a goldfish. The word spread like wildfire. George Allen just ate a goldfish on Tapestry. That no one knows. This is unbelievable.
I think I read that book. George Allen just ate a goldfish on Tapestry.
Needless to say, he had a wonderful time that night. It was a lot of fun, blast and everything. Monday morning, don't you know, we turn on Dialing for Dollars Monday morning. We want to see what's happening with George. Is he going to mention us? What's going to happen? All right, so there's George Allen. The movie is, I don't remember the movie now, but I do remember it. Von Ryan's Express with Frank Sinatra.
Okay.
So it's a pretty good movie. So we're all involved, and we go, what will George do? Will George even talk about us? Will he mention to anybody he went to Providence, whatever? George Allen, at some point in time, we see the camera focus on George. He's wearing as usual. He's wearing that jacket. Don't you know he's wearing our green tie with the friar on it.
He wore the tie. Wow.
So, okay, there's the tie. That's the first thing. So we're all hopped up. The man's been, he's wearing a tie. Timmy, get in here. He's wearing a tie. Everybody's cheering and going crazy. We have the windows open in our dorm. We could hear McDermott across the way, another room, another dorm. They're all cheering. The minute the camera goes onto the tie, everyone's cheering. I can hear it through the campus. Everyone's cheering. That's not it. That's not the end of it. He then says, I just want to take the time to say I had a great time this weekend with the guys and gals at Providence College. Providence, you really know how to show a guy a good time. Thank you, Douglas Viviani and Tim Phelan, my buddy, my roommate who bought him the tie, for inviting me to Providence College. I'm there anytime you guys want. I'll do the countdown. We had a great time. Oh, there's cheers. Everybody's cheering. Oh, This paper's going out of windows. Hey, just got mentioned. The Providence College just got mentioned on TV. Oh! I mean, a little excitement there at the college.
You were into that one.
That was a good one. Sometimes they get me going. I lost my mind.
Really got you going.
One of the best ones, I think that was best received. A lot of my college roommates and college friends did respond to that.
So for people, just so they know, so George Allen was a very local broadcaster, right, in Providence, and he did this Dialing for Dollars show, basically.
Yeah, every
watched all the time religiously.
Right, 4:00 movie. We would before dinner. We'd tune him in, and it was like just a local movie, local station, and in between, before commercials, or if you will, he would make a phone call to a local person in Providence, and if you were watching the show and knew what movie was being played, you would win the $67 or whatever it was.
$67.
And that caught my fancy. I could not get over that, the amount of money, and that this was actually happening on TV. It would never happen, in New York. You have that arrogance,
right,
because you have so many people, and how could you do that? But it was so fun. It was great.
Yeah.
And so we got the idea to have him come on board. So, all right. So this is the last one. I think this is a build to crescendo. To me, this might be the best of the stories of last year. We'll see what happens this year. See if this is David's opinion, but let's see. Mom, actually, I do have to give a little something. This is a story about the Johnson Smith Company. We were talking about novelty gifts that you get, or I used to get as a kid from a catalog, and I had gotten a fake,
like the fly in the ice cube, the poop that looks like poop, that sort of stuff. Exactly. All those gags.
And I got the box with a hole in it, and you put your finger in it. It looks like is a dismembered finger in a box. And so here we go. Mom, Mom say, what? I'm the pressing what? And then there's a silence. And she goes, she's horrified, the look on her face. But you ever get this? The mom turns and she looks at one person in particular. And the person that she's looking at is the one that they're talking about. And based on the look on her face, if there's a smile or a frown, if it's good news or bad.
While she's on the phone.
Correct. Okay. So she's hearing apparently a recitation of some kind of something that I know from the eyes has to do with me. And I also know from the frown and the look of horror on her face that it has to do with something negative. I'm thinking, I never thought of the thing. We swore
really? You didn't make that connection right away.
Swore my friends, I swore the guys that are buying me these novelty, whatever, the drinks and the food, and looking up at me with a new respect, they were sworn to secrecy, right?
Oh, you didn't think they were going to rat you out, right?
Kidding me? They rat me out. They're ratting themselves out, right?
Okay, yeah.
Turns out, don't you know, Douglas Bloom came home crying.
Oh, I was going to say, he probably couldn't help himself, right?
This poor kid was crying. At the dinner table, his mother served him hot dogs for dinner. Hot dogs and beans.
No way.
Hot dogs and beans.
Serve him hot dogs.
Beans. Remember, they used to get the hot dogs and beans together. Not a hot dog and a bun. The hot dogs and the beans. Yeah.
That's sick.
So he started crying. He got the grilling of his life. Why are you crying? He would say, no. Finally, he broke down. It looks like a finger. By the way, Douglas Viviani found a finger in the TSS mall. So that story took a life on its own. It continued thereafter. It was a good one.
Yeah, that might have been the all-time best you've told so far, I think.
Yeah, that was fun. So I'll dig into the bag of tricks and try to come up with the additional stories. It won't be too hard. I've lived a long, interesting,
yes, you have,
fruitless life, unrequited love, and so many failures, and you have to go through that to make your personality who you are, right? But I seem to remember all of those events. So,
in great detail, I might add.
Yes, we'll dive into that. We also had a couple of guests, and we had Winter Miller. Was a suggestion by your wife to come on board, and from the looks of YouTube and the podcast, the rebroadcast of our shows, this got a huge response from people, and really did enjoy her interacting with the kids. So let's just hear a smidge about that. She wrote a book that was about her cat, kid's book, and she was very gregarious, very, very good guest, I thought. Let's see.
I would absolutely say yes.
And along those lines, I think Leo has something to say about a sequel. What do you think, Leo?
Well, this is just a thought, but I think that my cat Picasso would be friends with Gato, and because he is curious and he thinks he's a person.
And it would make a good sequel, you think, the two of them getting together?
Yeah, maybe.
That's kind of cool.
Well, Leo, I think you should write a book about Picasso because you know Picasso so well.
I might do that.
How about that,
You might
Leo?
do that?
Yeah, I might do that.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it and send it to me.
Oh, what do you think of that idea, Leo?
Yeah.
And then you could do a crossover promotion.
Can I write him meeting Disney?
Yes, of course. Well, it's a great idea. Listen, it's a good thought, Winter. I was just thinking of that, right? I mean, writing is not an impossible thing that other people do and you can't do, right? I mean, tell us about how you get into it and what are you thinking about, children writing a sequel or their own, let's say, books themselves following up on this.
I think that's absolutely what kids should do. I think you should look at your cat, see what they're up to, and write a book as if you are that cat. Or you could pretend to be the cat and have the cat write a book about you. Imagine what your cat thinks of you. Like when you walk in the room, what is your cat thinking? Thank you for having me. And Angelica and Leo, I hope when you write your books, you send me a note about them. I want to see them.
Yeah, we will.
And maybe we'll see you at Nerd Camp one day. We'll see if we can get that revived.
Yes. Yeah. Anyone listening, bring me to Nerd Camp. Whatever that is, I'm in. Nerd
great.
Camp everywhere.
There we go, David Cohen. Since then, and I have to get Angelica on the show to read it, she did do a short story about a cat from the cat's perspective. And
did she?
Yes, I have to. Now I'm just thinking of it right now. I should have brought it down and read it. That was silly of me. But when we get her back on the show.
Why would you read it? Let her read it.
Exactly. I should have had her.
On the kid's thunder for. What's the matter with you?
Exactly. Let me make a note here for that because we got to get that cat story. And
yeah, that's a great. I'm glad that one of the kids followed up and did it.
Yeah, it was a great suggestion.
Leo,
Leo,
is he working on it?
Leo's not working on it. He took a turn. His best buddy is his cat, Picasso. And they're together all the time. It's so funny. You'll see him, whether he's watching TV or he's playing a video game or he's having lunch, whatever. This cat is by him all the time, round the clock.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's great.
But it's a great idea. I don't know why he's not that mindset. He's a more sportsy kind of a guy. But Angelica is totally into it and wrote it. And it actually, I don't want to ruin it, but it gives it it's a story from the cat's perspective. And it's very short, maybe 2 pages, but it's very cool. So, it's nice to have guests like that kind of interact and give some advice and have no ego. She was great.
Absolutely. Yeah, she was. She is.
Yeah, that's true. She is. All right. Hopefully you think we're great, but even if you just think we're good or just good enough, come on back because we're going to continue on Everything Old is New Again, continue looking at what we did last year and maybe what's going to happen next year.
This is Anson Mount, and you're listening to Everything Old is New Again with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Welcome back. We are discussing Everything Old is New Again 2022, wrapping up the year, looking forward to next year, 2023, and what we're going to do then. Anson Mount has done, he has promised to come on back to the show. He's on the new hit show, Strange New Worlds. And he's the new captain. He's the new It guy. Have you seen any of that, David Cohen? Not yet.
I have not.
Not the.
You have to subscribe to that thing, right?
Yeah.
Pay for the service.
You do. So the trick is that you wait for the season to be released all at once.
For them,
and then what?
60-day trial. Yeah. 60-day free trial. You watch it, you binge it, then you cancel.
God, you're so excited about that. How come?
But if I'm going to make the effort to do it, look. I'm sorry to say it's not going to be for a Star Trek series.
Would it be for the WWF? Listen to this.
And start beating up Strongbow. Strongbow seemed to get beat up all the time before he got his comeuppance. Like he would get some power, some strength, right? But you didn't hear it there. But the locker room emptied into the ring, which is what you love.
My favorite moment when the locker room empties.
They
come out in street clothes.
Yes.
And
in comes Ivan Putski, who we'd seen previously. And I'll never forget this. And they come in, there's like, we make it sound like there's 20 guys. There's like 3 or 4 guys come in. So the 4th guy coming in is Ivan Putski. He's got his clothes on, but half on. He's like getting dressed, on the way out. And he's got a suitcase, a little suitcase with him. Like it's maybe 2 feet by 3 feet suitcase. I don't know why he's carrying a suitcase with him. He brings a suitcase in with him. Killer Kowalski grabs the suitcase from him, which is closed. He slams it over Ivan Putski's head, opens up the 2 locks on the luggage, opens it up, and there's some underwear, and amidst the underwear is Ivan Putski's head. He slammed his luggage over his head.
Oh, so his head went through the luggage.
His leg went through the luggage, and he opens it up, and there's his head with the underwear. It could be more humiliating.
So it's a closed big piece of luggage, and he brings it down over Ivan Putski's head. It's still closed, and he opens the lid, and there's Ivan Putski's head because his head went through the bottom.
Correct.
Yeah.
Amongst underwear and socks and stuff.
And underwear, all the humiliating personal items.
It was one of the most memorable locker room brawls that I've ever seen. It was so freaking funny. It was unbelievable.
There you go, David Cohen. I know you love that stuff, and I love getting into the wrestling. Your eyes widen and get totally into it. We talk about wrestling from the 70s, and 80s.
Yeah, I like that. It was a great period for wrestling. The only period I watched it.
Yeah. But no one's to say that we don't. You can't say that we don't talk sports on this show. We do movies, TVs, and stuff like that. But we do sports, and we do personalities. Remember Freddie Blassie? Classy Freddie Blassie from back in the day. So there's 2 shows we talked about, the WWF. You can again go back and listen to our old shows on EverythingOldIsNewAgain.Biz or any of those podcasting services. But you're better off listening personal. But if you missed it, go back and listen and let us know what you think. Here's a little something on Classy Freddie Blassie. Oh, man, this guy was something.
So I don't even know why I'm taking my time to talk and try to educate these idiots. These are a bunch of people. You put them up, you tell them, jump. They don't even know what you're talking about. They go, just take a look at them. A bunch of juvenile delinquents, a bunch of idiots, a bunch of pencil-neck geeks.
So Freddie Blassie comes out, Nassau Coliseum, and literally insults the entire crowd, including this girl sitting next to him. And she's like, "What? Who is this guy? Why is he calling me a pencil neck? What's a pencil neck geek? I know how to jump. What is he? What's going? Like, think about it to a person that has no idea what this is about." And I'm trying to explain to her as a 14-year-old, in my little puppy love, trying to explain what this is all about.
So there we go, a little something there, and it was fun to dive into wrestling for 2 weeks there. No one can say that we don't have a wide variety of topics, correct, David Cohen?
That is correct.
We have
wide variety,
and then we talk serious. Then we turn to we talk about the DH. Remember this?
I feel like Ed McMahon on this show. Yes, wide variety. You're correct, sir.
That's what you say. The clip shows. This is what you do. You bang through.
The clip show.
Let's.
Really, you look at me like Johnny looked at Ed. Isn't that right, Ed? Yes, very much so. Yes.
Hoping you can add something because I've got absolutely nothing.
You asked me yes or no questions. Isn't that right, David? I feel like I'm on a witness stand. Yes.
All right. Do you remember David Cohen talking about the DH?
The DH, the designated hitter?
Yes, in baseball.
Not really. Let's hear it.
Can you tell me maybe 3 of the 10 of the best, what is rated the best DHs of all time?
That's a tough one. I wouldn't, you know what? I wouldn't even.
There are 2 in mind that I have 2 that straight out were just DHs for the most of their career. David Ortiz and Edgar Martinez, Seattle. He was.
And then
the
you
DH.
don't have to have the debate about, whether in the All-Star game or in the World Series, whether you're using the DH or not, or interleague play. Like now it's just uniform rule across the entire league, which should have been done a long time ago.
There you go. David Cohen, do you have a fantasy in any way, shape, or form of having your own sports talk radio
I do
show?
not, sir. I do not.
Because every time we do sports, you get very serious and very into it, and very you're certainly steadfast in your opinions.
When it comes to sports, yes, I'm pretty opinionated about it. That's true. I would say sports and entertainment. I have very strong thoughts and opinions on certain things.
And music.
Yes. And music.
Yes.
So pretty much everything.
Pretty much.
Every non-serious. If it's like serious, like it's politics or it's like life in general, real meaty subjects, I'm just like, I don't know. But stuff that doesn't matter, I'm into it, baby.
I'm with you on that. Let me ask you a question. Are there any topics off the top of your head that we either didn't finish talking about over all these years that you'd like to pick up on, or some topics that you feel is deserving of our attention that we haven't spent the time yet doing so?
No, we've basically beat every subject into submission and beyond.
Oh, I beg to differ. I have so many more to go.
No, I'm talking about topics we've already covered. So you think that there are certain topics we haven't covered enough?
Right, that's true. That's a good point.
Like what?
No, I agree with you. Once we dive into it, we don't. Let's go this way with it.
We leave no stone unturned,
and we explore it as much as we know about it, and we personally can get into it. And I stress us and we.
Yeah, right.
There are others that know so much more about it. What's that?
The normal person would think that we're not diving into it at all, and we don't. We have no expertise in this. We're just riffing on it. But as far as we're concerned, we're doing a very, very deep, exclusive feature on it for sure,
and certainly doing it in a different way, trying to do things differently. And I think what we do need to do, and we haven't done it in a while, is one of those shows with the best kind of food. We've done the hot dog. We did the same. We did a whole 4 shows and 3 shows or something like that on the sandwich. Remember that? We did all kind of sandwich discussion. We
hot dogs, like you said.
Best hamburger we've done. Did we do best cookie? I think it was best cookie.
I don't know if we done.
Yes.
I don't know if we did best cookie.
We did Yes, we did. We did best cookie. Yep, I remember it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure. Okay.
That's so memorable. So how about the next one? I don't know if this works. How about a best breakfast cereal?
Best breakfast cereal.
Do you go for that? Maybe you don't.
I would, but I don't eat breakfast cereal.
Well, what kind of I know, but that's the thing. Maybe we get you back into it. Or what else would be a food kind of a thing? Best rib? No. Something like a fast food. What is it? Oh, I guess tacos? Maybe there's no real taco places. All right, we'll have to think about it. Another best food kind of a thing.
But those are fun shows. I think we should think about it because we did those in person. We would actually, be there at the table and each take a bite of a hamburger and a hot dog and see. You cooked up the hot dogs in your house and we actually ate them. So those were fun. Yeah, I agree. We should do more of that.
Yeah, those were good. Those were a lot of fun. Good, clean fun.
Yeah.
And one thing we haven't really done is we have had some authors. I shouldn't say this, but we've had sports authors, and we did have Winter on, but we haven't had many authors of other kind of books, like let's go fiction wise, like a Dean Koontz or somebody like that. So, a fiction author that is well renowned these days. You think we could get somebody like that on? That might be kind of good. We've had Michael Elias, and we've had Nicholas Meyer. We've done that
on topics that we know about, but generally, like true literature, like good quality literature, you and I know nothing about that.
I know the problem is we'd have to read those books. And that would slow us down quite a bit. Yeah, there's no cliff notes.
That's not going to happen.
No, so maybe that's not a great idea. But if you've got a good idea for us to hit upon, write us. oldnewagain@aol.com. Oldnew.
You know what would be it? Oh, sorry. I stepped on the promo. Sorry.
oldnewagain@aol.com. Tell us when we get back, David Cohen. We're out of time. Tell us what you think would be a good guest. We'll be back right here on Everything Olds.
Hi, Hi, this is Karen Allen. You're listening to Everything Old is New Again with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
There we go. Karen Allen from Raiders of the Lost Ark and so many others that we enjoyed having time with her.
Many others, none of which come to mind.
The Starman and Animal House, right? She was terrific. Who would you suggest, David Cohen, when we're looking back here at 2022 and forward to 2023?
I never know when the question's going to end with you. David Cohen, who should we have? And I keep trying to answer, but the question just keeps going.
Yeah, so we're waiting to hear with bated breath. Who is it you think would be a good guest for 2023 on Everything Old is New Again? That you think would be good to interview? That you'll come in and do the interview with? That you think you would actually listen to?
Oh, man, really? Come on, now I'm falling for it.
Go ahead, let's hear it.
So I think a great follow-up to we should have thought about this when we had the hot dog contest. Why don't we get Joey Chestnut on?
I thought about that. I did think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Explain who he is.
What?
Well, not everybody knows who Joey Chestnut is.
So Joey Chestnut is I don't know how many years he's won the Coney Island hot dog eating contest, which I think everyone's heard about. It happens every July 4th, and actually they broadcast it now on ESPN, so it's got national coverage. He is, the reigning all-time. He's like the Babe Ruth of hot dog eating, right? And he's like just a regular guy, like you and me, basically.
That's a great idea. I will look that up, and we'll have him on board. We did do way back when, if you remember, we did an eating contest. We ate all kind of things, and we did donuts eating contest. We did pizza, if you remember, and some others. But yeah, he would be great to dive into that subject. I love that idea. What was a good idea that we did was our game show, Movie Mania Madness. And we're going to now take David Cohen down a dark road on remembering his challenge by Loretta DeBono Selmeyer.
No.
Here we go.
Now, I have a question. Someone from Happy Days appeared on Everything Old is New Again for 1 full hour. Yes, Loretta, hands up. Yes, the answer is
Ralph Malph?
Yes, what's his real name?
Donnie Most.
Yes, and they actually call him Don Most now. We spoke about that. So you want to find
Loretta,
that.
you are a super fan, man. You're pulling this stuff out of here based on the show. Wow.
How about that?
How about trivia about Everything Old is New Again, so our super fan brought to the table? How about that?
Yeah, she's nuts, man. She actually listens to this show. And she remembers stuff.
Yes, she does remember stuff. And
we need to get a restraining order. I think that's the next step with Loretta.
Well, now that you say something derogatory about her, she's going to talk derogatory about you.
Okay, so you're changing the rules.
I can't help it. It gave it to you at the end of the song.
But in the last game, Loretta, correct me if I'm wrong. There were many movie titles that were also the song titles that were also the name of the movie.
You see what a sore loser is? I mean,
I'm not a sore loser. I'm just sticking to the rules of the game.
He's a rule guy. He really needs the rules.
That's okay.
All right, fine.
No,
it was Beauty and the Beast, but sure. Ask me who sang it.
Never knew he was that way. Did you?
I think you should give it to him. It's okay.
Are you asking me who sang it?
I'll give him the point because he'd get mad otherwise, right? Okay. All right, David, you got the point there. Good for you. All right, Beauty and the Beast. And who sang that song?
We talk behind your back as if you can't hear us.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. I was a complete sore loser.
She's going to get back at you right now.
To be Mr. I play by the rules. Sort of like you reaching for the red wine, right? You're a total rules guy.
You got to have that timer. Got to turn that timer over.
Very true. Yeah, I was upset that Loretta just, she killed me in that game.
She did,
totally.
but
it wasn't even close.
But she had some competitive spirit. She was looking to go. She complained a little bit about you here at one point.
All right, we're down to the last question, I think, right now, and this is for you. You can steal this game right here. Can you? Do you think you have it?
Wait, I'm winning?
You're winning.
Well, you got everything hand-fed to you.
She was all riled up.
See, I forgot that.
Yeah, you got her all.
Yeah, she's very competitive.
She really was. She literally studied for that exam, so to speak. That was 4 shows. I think we did that game show.
Wow.
Yeah, she went 4-0 against you. All right, one last thing. We'll talk about other things. But one last clip of Loretta. 4-0.
What a comeback!
Movie Mania Madness.
What a
Loretta
comeback.
DeBono wins all 4 games. Holy smokes, Loretta! What do you have to say for yourself?
Shocked. Did not think I would win against David Cohen. I'm feeling very proud of myself right now. And David, thank you. You're a great competitor.
David, what do you have to say?
This was, you were amazing. I didn't stand a chance. Even when I had a lead, you came back and you pulled it out. Very impressive. Very
It
impressive.
was a lot of fun. And Douglas, you did a lot of work to prepare for these shows. So good work.
Yeah, Doug, man, you got to get a life. You put way too much work into this.
No one says anything about the hosting of the game, but okay, I'll take
And
it.
yes, a great host. You kept the score, we think, accurately.
I'm just,
yes.
I didn't cheat.
And, we'll give you the benefit of that doubt. But yes, perfect.
It's been
Perfect score for Doug.
I hope everyone enjoyed it. It's 4 weeks of thrills, fun, and adventure. Next week, we continue more fun. Always digging for more compliments there. I just can't leave well enough alone. I've got to get into it. But those were great shows.
Enough.
Yeah.
Someone pays you a compliment, and it doesn't really scratch that itch. So
Right.
you've got to. Yeah, but no one said anything about how I was blah 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 blah. Yes, Doug, you were that too. Yes.
Yeah, you can't just say you did a good job. You have to amplify it for 5 minutes exactly. What do you mean by good job? What did I do that was so good? It's the
Well, no, you don't.
narcissistic.
At least you don't do that.
Yeah,
you don't do that.
No.
No.
But she thank you. Those were fun shows. Game shows like that are very cool. We can do more of those. I think we did sort of that, you and I, or I challenge you sometimes, like we did with the show of the sound effects. We had you try to guess like 8 sound effects and things like that. So, there are some good game shows there. So we do all kind of stuff,
We do.
And
we do. All very entertaining.
I think so. And I think that it's time for us to dive into like board games. Let's do like a February foolishness of board games coming up. That's 2023. We'll do like a March Madness kind of a thing. How about
like greatest board games of all time, that sort of thing.
There you go. How about Viviani, Dr. Viviani, having the aficionado of all things odd? Should he be back to do some UFO exploration with us?
Love to have him back. Sure.
More odd things. How about Cub Scouts? You want to talk about? I don't know. I've got an interesting dive into Cub Scouts and the Pinewood Derby and what's going on with kids these days. I don't know if that's interesting or not. I'm not sure.
Is it a personal story?
Yes.
Of you and the Cub Scouts?
Yes. I think you're
okay, good. I mean, if you're just reporting on the state of the Cub Scouts these days, no.
No. You ever hear of Alan Smithy? You ever hear of that name, Alan Smithy? No. It's a pseudonym.
I have not, sir.
It's a pseudonym for film directors. In other words, if you directed a film and you're not proud of it, you put the name Alan Smithy up there. You don't put your own name on it.
I did not know that.
It's done many times. I think it's a very interesting topic to see. I think I could find out who the actual directors were of certain movies that put.
Is that really a thing?
Yes.
Like if you look up certain movies, you'd see that name as the director?
Yeah. I think it's Smithie, Alan Smithy. So if you just go to IMDb or even Google and Google that name, you'll see that that's what it is. Now, I think a deep dive into let's reveal who were the directors, and some of them are certainly directors for sure that are just not proud of this movie.
How do you find out who really directed
that's the secret of Everything Old is New Again. I can't let you in on that. You got to come back to hear that.
Okay. I hope you're serious.
I am.
I mean,
it's on the list.
You really know how?
I really know how. It's on the list. Okay. Anything else of interest?
And people, he's looking at a list right now.
I'm looking at a list as we speak.
Actually looking at the list.
Yeah.
All right.
How about the death of the reality show? It was so freaking popular for the longest time, and now I think it's on the. I don't know. It's waning. Am I wrong? What do you think of reality?
What are you talking about?
The death of the reality show. Should we do a show?
The death of the reality show.
Don't you think that's a topic worthwhile? I mean, Survivor's still going, but does anybody watch it? And all these others.
No, they're still going strong.
They're going strong. Maybe we'll have the argument you love to have because I think they're done.
No, I'm not arguing. There's not an argument. I mean, they're going strong. You just don't know about them. A lot of them are like these, couples like dating, or they put single people in groups and. Yeah, no, it's it's a genre. You like them? That's so cheap to produce. They'll never give up on reality shows. It's too much of a moneymaker.
Or maybe I'm looking for the word popularity, because you can make whatever you want, but if no one's watching it, is it really successful? That's what we need to dive into. Let's see. Let's
diving. I don't want to dive into it because they're so bad. What's it?
That's another thing.
The answer is either going to be yes, the reality show still lives, or no, it doesn't.
How about looking at the most horrible of the reality shows? Like there's a plethora of them out there. Let's dive into. We'll do like one segment on whether they're alive or well.
Dive into. It's just it gets me like I don't know. Yeah.
Let's peer into.
Let's just do the show on what are some of the worst reality shows? I like that.
I'm gonna write that one down.
We need to dive in. There's no diving.
Worst.
We're discussing
reality shows. All right, so we're not going to dive into that. We're going to investigate that. We'll dive into the pool of Everything Old is New Again's brain trust.
Investigate the pool, not diving.
So come on back next year, David Cohen. What do you have to say about finish up your conversation of Everything Old is New Again 2022?
It was a great year. It was a really good year. And I think one of the reasons it was so good is because of your personal stories, Doug. I think it's a good direction for the show. Another avenue that we've been going down. And I think it's really exciting. And I'm looking forward to hearing more about you and all the other exciting things that we're going to do in the new year.
Yeah, this is going to be a great year. We're going to have some fun. Come on back next week and let's see what happens. We'll explore, not dive in. We'll explore yet another topic on Everything Old is New Again. Come on back next week.